Hello, welcome back to another video. Today I actually have some art to unbox. Finally back to opening some art. It's been a little bit since I've opened some on the channel. I actually have a bit of a backlog again. I have a couple pieces. I think I have 3 currently, and 1 is arriving in the next couple days. So yeah, I need to get back on schedule and open some art. So today we're going to open up let's see how I want to talk about this. So it actually is an auction win, which I've talked about before. That's not the primary way that I acquire art. I try to stay away from auctions just because there's so much out there, and auctions. You can. I know me, and if it's a page I really want, I can get caught up, and I can tend to want to pay more for a piece. So it's just I like the idea of buying direct from artists and reps right now. It just is a better way for me to kind of manage what I'm spending and keep a focus on certain things. But that said, for auctions, I still have my keyword searches through Comic Art Fans, and that'll alert me to things that are coming up on auction, and I have artists that I look out for. So that's still on my radar. So I don't completely ignore it. I just don't actively seek out other things or look at the auction listings to see what else might catch my eye. If it's not something that I've already identified as an artist or a story or a character, whatever it is, whatever the keyword search is, if it's not something that I've already identified as something that I'm looking for, I don't tend to go looking more. So let's get it opened up, and then I'll talk a little bit more about the why I decided to buy this, and some of the things I've done in my collection to kind of move things around. Which is there's a reason. Yeah, let's open it up and then I'll talk about it. So it was a ComicLink auction win, and I want to say I won this like maybe July. August. I've had this for about a month. I think I've had it. It arrived. Yeah, so it's been a bit, but I had some other things that came in, and just kind of this took a back seat. But I forgot ComicLink. I don't like packing peanuts. I don't like them. They fill a box well. They can help secure a shipment, but they get everywhere. I don't know. So let's try to just hopefully do this. Pull the art out, set it down here for a second, and then get this box back up. All right. So not too bad. I'll take it. That was a success. That wasn't a mess. So it wasn't the mess that I was fearing. So that's good. Okay, so let's see here. So yeah, this is a page that I set my limit of what I wanted to spend for it. I didn't want to go over a certain point, and that's pretty much where I landed on this. It was within my comfort zone. It was within what I thought was reasonable, and yeah, so it worked out nicely. All right, okay, it's cool. All right, so this is, let's see, I'll tease it with the artist first. It is a Greg Capullo page, and I love Greg Capullo's work. I've talked about it before. He's just an artist that in my mind he keeps getting better and better. You can tell that he challenges himself on each new project. And what I've loved seeing him in the past not a couple of years, but recently when he did his run with Scott Snyder on Batman. And then when it went into metal and death metal, I thought that was primarily I enjoyed it for his art, and it was just a chance for him to do some crazy design work. And he excels in that kind of fantasy, like horror kind of world. and I love seeing him do stuff like that. So he has done some other creator-owned stuff, and this page is from one of his creator-owned titles from the past. I think this was it was released in, yeah, I know exactly when it was released. It was 2016 into 2017, and we'll talk about why that is sticks in my mind in a little bit here too. So, all right. So it is from the series Reborn, written by Mark Miller, and this came out it was like October of 2016 into 2017, and it's a story about the afterlife and what the afterlife in this world, what the afterlife is. And it's when you die, you go to this fantasy world, and it's populated by all the people that you knew in your life, and they're there, and they kind of fill different roles. There's different. There's a friend of hers that is like this all powerful being. There is there's a lot. I don't want to say too much about all the characters, but a lot of the characters that you would find in a fantasy world all stem back to the main character's real life. And the character's name is Bonnie, and it's a story about the first thing she is dying, and she kind of goes to this fantasy world, and she sees her father who had passed away. She reunites with her dog that she has as a kid, and the idea is that she's searching for her husband who was murdered in the real world. She's then searching for him in this fantasy world, and it's kind of the quest to seek him out, and then also overthrow this evil overlord kind of character. And yeah, so this is from issue 6. It's page 6, and what it is it's Bonnie and her father Tom. It's them kind of finally reaching the stronghold of, is it Lord this guy, Lord Golgotha is his name. Yeah, like I said, I'm terrible with names, but right. So they're going against his stronghold, and it's a scene that actually is the basis for it was the cover to issue 1 and also the cover to the trade. It's Bonnie arriving at his stronghold, and it's this idea that I just love that what this page has. It has that panel of her, the shot from behind. You see his castle, and you see she's got her sword, which is the thing that it's her source of power in this world. So it's all of the people that were in her life, be it good, bad, they're all there, and it's this epic fight between good and evil. And she, of course, is the savior of this world. So they've been preparing and waiting for Bonnie to pass and arrive here in the sci-fi fantasy world, and now they're going to finally go and defeat Lord Golgotha. So you got her, she got the sword that's her source of power, and then there's that panel with it's the story of it's a daughter, her dad, and their dog, and that's that third panel, them represented there. And then it's that really cool bottom panel filled with a bunch of demonic characters, and it's all part of Lord Golgotha's army. He's welcoming them in for this final confrontation. So you see them kind of walking past, what you think is going to be this huge fight to get into the stronghold, and it's just them. Golgotha's like, no, come in, and he just has that confidence that they're not a threat. So I love this page for a couple reasons that we just talked about. Now the story itself, this was released at a time when my daughter was born in 2017, and I was reading this as we were pregnant with our daughter. And now we didn't know what we were having, so I didn't know that it was being that this was a story about a daughter, her father, and their dog. We have a dog, so I didn't know that we were having a daughter. But then it did make me, as I was reading it, when I was becoming a parent, I was a little older. We waited to have kids, and you have all these thoughts, and I'm like, oh, am I am I too old to have kids? I mean, not, but you just think about these things. And my parents were very young when they had kids, so you think of how old your kids are going to be when you're a certain age, and then the idea of we're not going to be here forever, and how much of their life are you going to be around for, and it's just when you're becoming a parent and when you're pregnant, and especially that first time, you have so many thoughts of like, what the hell am I getting into? We were ready to have kids, really wanted to have kids, but then once you get that news that the baby is coming, you're like, oh shit. So there's just those things that you go through your brain. So all the while, I was reading this series. I think the last issue came out. The last issue came out, I think, after my daughter was born. It was kind of spread out. I think it was like 2016 into like mid 2017. But then I also, after my daughter was born, I reread the series when it came out in trade. When the book came out, I reread it, and then it hit differently. It made me. I went to more of the. I'm not a super religious person, and the question of what comes next, I don't know, and I don't pretend to know, but it's still stuff we think about. And this was kind of providing an answer, not the answer, but just an idea of like, what if this is where you went? And it just made me think about things, and it just it just resonated with me in a way that it would not have resonated if I had read this years ago, before I had kids. And it came along at the right time to really kind of hit me, and it did. Once we had our daughter, and then I knew this was a story about the daughter and her father, and it just, again, it landed even closer to home once I read it in trade format. So yeah, I already have a one other page from this series, and I bought it directly from Greg and his wife Jamie, and it was, what I wanted was a page with a nice panel of Bonnie, her dad, and her dog, and that page is from the end of issue 5. It's when they're kind of you see the forces of good kind of cheering them on as they finally make their journey to the castle. And that's at the end of issue 5, and then this is the beginning of issue 6 where they arrive at the castle. So I feel like these two pages pair nicely together for the content, and both represent, you get both good examples of what the story is about. And it's, like I'll say it again, the daughter, the dad, and the dog. Now I forget where the mother comes into play in this story. I forget. So I don't want to exclude my wife as a big part of the the journey of having kids as well. But it just, as a father, it just hit home, and the idea of raising a daughter, and instilling a bunch of different values in her, and I think of all of those things when I think about this series, and when I like flip through the book. So to have all of those emotions tied up into the story, I was definitely looking forward to getting another example of the story into the collection. And now what I've done this year, I haven't talked about this a lot, but I had some early Spawn pages from Greg Capullo's early work on Spawn, which I loved as a teenager. I still really enjoy the Spawn art. But I looked at, you take a look at the collection and what the art means to me, and I was able to decide, okay, I sold off some of the Spawn art that I had, and I found some great collections for those to live in, and I'm thankful that they are rehomed into some wonderful collections. And again, that's always a good feeling. It's not, I don't need to keep them forever. forever, but to know where they ended up. And I'm not saying they have to stay there forever, but knowing where they went, they're in a better collection. And for what I'm trying to put together long term, this is something that I can look at, and I have personal, much more, a stronger personal connection to this art than I had to the nostalgic memories of reading Spawn as a teenager. So when you tie the emotions of being a parent, you tie that into this art, and actually, Greg Capullo's art over years has only gotten better. So I really enjoy the stuff that he's done lately. Now, we talked about before the Wolverine series that's going on now. I don't know if that's the best use of his talents. I mean, it doesn't look bad. It's just I really like when he is able to stretch his legs a little bit more and do more of the design work. I mean, the characters of Wolverine, Colossus, Omega Red, like all those characters that are in that series, the designs are pretty straightforward as the regular look of the characters, and that's not necessarily the stuff that I gravitate towards when I look at Capullo's art and what I appreciate more about his art. Not bad, just I definitely prefer when when the gloves are off and he can go to town with designs. So and that this book had it all over the place. I mean, he designed this whole entire fantasy world and loved it. So, all right, that's the look at this page. I'm happy to have this in the collection now. I like that the 2 pages that I have work well together. I love that this is the scene that you see in the cover of the issue 1. There's just so much wrapped up into this page, and I also love that the fact that it's a page that's inked by Jonathan Glapion. I have felt that the Glapion's inks on Greg's pencils are just wonderful. Glapion's a bit of a I don't want to say perfectionist, but he's very meticulous and precise and very respectful to Greg's pencils, and I can't imagine what it's like to ink Greg. And I think about that even when I look at think of Brett Booth and Adelso Corona inking Brett. That has to be intimidating, but I love the work that Jonathan does over Greg's pencils, and happy to get another example of that creative pairing into the collection. And it was at not an unreasonable price to buy at auction. So I didn't go crazy. I didn't go over my budget, and I found a page that fits much more. So that's a huge win. So thank you very much for watching this one, and I will see you soon.